Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and today we're going to do another pick a card tarot reading and oracle reading, and this time we're going to ask about the next 6 months ahead for you. I decided to do this reading because at the time that I'm filming this we are entering the month of June, so we have 6 more months of the year. However, this is a timeless reading, so whenever you're finding this video, even if it's years after I post it, this can apply to you. So what I need you to do is sit back, relax, breathe deeply, and ask yourself, the universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, whatever you believe in, ask out loud or in your head, what does the next 6 months look like for me? And once you've done so, you can take a look at all 3 groups on screen, all 3 crystals on screen, and select whichever one you feel most drawn in towards. Some of you might feel drawn to more than one group, and that is totally fine. There may just be messages for you in those multiple groups. As always, keep in mind, this is a group general reading, so sometimes these readings can feel like a totally personal reading, like you just are one-on-one with me, and other times it might not really resonate, and that's totally fine, okay? If you want a personal reading with me, the link to that is always in the description box, but take what resonates from these readings and leave anything that doesn't. I also want to announce that I just opened up a new reading you can purchase on my website, the month ahead reading, if you guys are interested in looking into your month ahead whenever you want. So that is available on my website. Now let's begin. Group number 1, we have the Afghanite stone. It's a very rare one that's a lot more pale in color, but there are some blue specks there. Group number 2, we have the Lapis Lazuli, one of my favorite stones. And then group number 3, we have the Amazonite. Select whichever one you feel most drawn to, and you can skip ahead to your reading using the timestamps, or you can watch through, but let's begin. Okay, group number 1, welcome. You selected the Afghanite, which is definitely amazing for promoting your intuition, inner peace, enlightenment. I always like to set intentions on this crystal every time I do readings and open myself up to the spiritual realms. This can trigger enlightenment and a lot of mental clarity. So if those things are right up your alley, you definitely selected the correct stone. So let's dive into it. First card out, you have thriving. Okay, this is a great sign as your first card in the next 6 months. I mean, and we see a giraffe here, and when I think of giraffes, I think of reaching high, reaching to the stars, and achieving quite a bit for yourself. So that is amazing. We have release coming out. Ooh, what are you letting go of? And we see an autumn color here. So if in the next 6 months you have the season of autumn or fall, that season may be very significant for you. I'm getting a very specific message starting to come through. Group number 1, a lot of you are ascending your vibration, awakening your kundalini. You could have been doing meditations or yoga or something that helps to ascend your vibration. There's a reason why a lot of monks, a lot of gurus, a lot of highly enlightened people give you warnings for awakening your kundalini and raising your vibration. And it is because when you change your personal vibration, the things that are no longer a vibrational match to your new vibration will fall out of your life. So when you do something like drastically changing your energy frequency in a short amount of time, your entire reality will fall apart and it will be replaced with something that is much more in alignment with your new vibration. So I definitely feel like group number 1, a lot of you are psychonauts, you know, people who explore vibration, spirituality, psychic abilities, things like that very openly. You're a deeply spiritual person. I'm not just talking about like the spiritual person who wears harem pants and has locks and, you know, is obsessed with crystals, like the stereotypical aesthetic of a spiritual person. You know, you're actually connected and really well connected. And I am seeing an ascension taking place for you over the next 6 months. Some of you may have recently had some sort of shamanic journey, meditation, dream, or something where you may have been speaking to a spirit guide or gotten some sort of message from the universe, basically asking you if it is okay. Like, would you be okay if this person or this thing was no longer in your life? And this is someone or something that you are heavily attached to. Okay, you guys are ascending your vibration to the point where you're recognizing the impermanent nature of life and reality. And I mean, we all recognize that, but it's really something that you're feeling to the core of your being and in your bones. And some of you may intuitively feel like there may be some pretty big changes in the next 6 months when it comes to the people and the life that you are heavily attached to at this moment. Like, there may have been a point in time, for example, where you would have never imagined divorcing or breaking up with your partner, or quitting that job that you worked so hard to achieve, or something. Whatever is being released, whatever is changing dynamics here, it is something that at one point in time you could have never imagined that you would be okay and willing to let this thing go and release it. However, your vibration is starting to ascend to the point where you're not really sure if you're finding yourself as a match to this person or this thing, whatever it is. So there's definitely a huge change taking place for you at this time. We also have Purity coming through. I love this. This is a new deck that I just picked up, and I used it in quite a bit of readings this past week, but I have not seen this card yet come out. So really cool. And I'm loving I believe that's a fox. Is that a fox? Could be, no, it's not a dog. It has to be a fox. I love this. It feels like newness. It feels like sweet intentions. I'm feeling unconditional love. I feel a lot of you, at the time that you're watching this, are really feeling yourself releasing resentments and moving on. So it's like to the point where you don't have to necessarily cut people off or cut things completely out of your life that aren't good for you or that may have had a toxic past. It's like you can appreciate it from a distance. You can love it from where it's at, whereas previously you may have had to completely cut someone out of your life or completely cut something out of your life and block it and remove yourself from it entirely. But now it's completely cleansed from your heart, where the unconditional love that you have for the person or the thing is still there and present, and you're simply able to meet someone where they're at. Does this make sense? So for example, let's just say you quit smoking, okay? And for a while you had to completely not be around people who smoked, not be around cigarettes or nicotine at all, completely block it out of your life in order to not go back. But now you're over that hump of addiction, of a very strong attachment. And now you can be around it again, and you can trust that you're not going to fall back into old ways. I'm seeing something like that. You needed a break from someone or something that was sort of a negative habit for you. You cleansed it from your heart, your soul, at least the negative aspects of it. You had a energy cord to this person or thing that was a bit toxic. You've cleansed the toxic parts of that energy cord without having to cut the energy cord itself. So now you can still be around something or someone, or even if you're not communicating with someone, even if you're not doing something, you can appreciate it from a distance. And for example, if this is a toxic ex, you can still be friends with them on social media and enjoy seeing how their life develops from that distance and not needing to talk to them. It's something like that. There's purity of heart here. All right. We have the 5th chakra in reverse, Archangel Gabriel. I feel like one of the big themes and lessons that will be significant for you over the next 6 months is speaking more and putting more of your thoughts and ideas out there to the world. And I'm seeing a lot of you, this could involve sharing to the world, how do I put this? Your creativity, your soul. So some of you may be really into photography, but it's something that you keep to yourself. And I'm seeing you actually posting that more and showing people, or maybe you write poetry. and you're putting that out to the world more to share, even if there's only like 5 people who are really into it, you're doing it for those 5 people. And, when we put ourselves more out there and who we are more out there, it attracts all the right people. And so many opportunities and blessings can come forward for you that are really like well aligned for you when you're not afraid to show your authenticity and put yourself out there. So I am seeing your spirit guides, angels, ancestors sort of working with you on your throat chakra region and empowering you to share more of yourself without being scared. A lot of you may be overcoming some social anxiety during this time as well. This is a really great next 6 months to become more like charismatic, more out there. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stop being an introvert if you're an introvert. I mean, like me personally, I feel I have this theory that introversion and extroversion doesn't really exist. I feel like all of us need both, fulfilling conversations with real people and having that social meter filled, and then also needing alone time. To me, it's not a red flag, but I feel like it can become very imbalanced when someone's like, I am a hardcore introvert or I am a hardcore extrovert. So I see you tuning more into getting your social needs met, but in a way that's really meaningful. And I feel like you're being a lot more intentional about who you surround yourself with and the way you communicate with the world and put your thoughts and ideas out there. So really beautiful. We have Envy in reverse. This is actually a really good card when it comes out in reverse because I feel like your energy is sort of repelling toxicity and repelling people who have a lot of jealousy issues. It feels like you're almost killing them with kindness. And it's like, how can you have anything negative to say about someone who holds so much light? I'm trying to think of someone who it's like really hard to hate, and the first person that pops into my mind is someone like Mr. Rogers. It's like, how can you hate that man? I mean, he's dead now, but how can you hate that man? He literally just does so much good in the world. He really, and that it goes back to that purity of intentions. And this isn't a false purity, because some people like to project this image of like being this godly person who does no wrong, but then they secretly shame and bash people, or maybe not so secretly. Whereas I feel like there is a true kindness about you, a true innocence about you. Like your motivations are very pure. And also another thing that I'm seeing here is that envy doesn't really reach you, because when someone may, for example, leave you hate comments or say snappy, judgmental things about you, I think you're awakened enough and enlightened enough to realize that that is really just a reflection of who they are, how they speak to themselves, and how they view themselves. Honestly, every form of communication, whether it's from your friends, your people on the internet, strangers, we're all just talking to ourselves through each other, to be honest. The advice that you find yourself giving the most strongly to the people around you is oftentimes the advice that you yourself need to listen to, or the advice that you needed to listen to in the past, So I think it's just really cool. We all are really the same entity, just dancing with ourselves, in the illusion of separateness. And I feel like this piece of wisdom is something that you're carrying a lot with you. I really feel like I'm talking to people who are extremely enlightened. I think group number 1 is filled with people who have definitely done a ton of soul searching and probably like meditation or connecting. Like, you don't feel like you've just recently had your very first spiritual awakening. You feel like a seasoned veteran in all things metaphysical, psychological, and just consciousness in general. Okay, so really cool. We have the Magician and the Mirror. These next 6 months, I feel like, is going to be massive for you, manifesting quite a bit for yourself. I feel like for these past few years, you probably have been on this journey that we were just discussing of like soul searching and healing from drama, trauma, etc. Healing from more toxic, envious types of connections. And yeah, I feel like you fully purged your spirit, your energy from all of these societal conditionings that were put upon you all throughout your life. I mean, this is a journey that takes many years to complete. This part of the spiritual awakening and spiritual journey where you really are just purging, going through your karmic relationships, your karmic soul ties. You are undoing all of the incorrect or traumatizing things that were imparted on you from society, from your parents, from family, etc. And really just peeling back the layers upon layers of energy and masks that have been placed upon your true aura, your true soul that lies within. At the core of all of our beings, there is inner peace, unconditional love, and this pure connection to spirit, this feeling of oneness, this feeling of I am energy, we are energy. It's hard to describe to people who haven't experienced it, but I feel like you have experienced it, which is why I'm having quite an easy time explaining it. And for many, many years, group number 1, you were peeling all of those layers off. And these past few months in particular may have been filled with many goodbyes, many endings. And many of you who selected group number 1 find yourself in a very simple place right now. A lot of you probably are single, or if you're in a relationship, it's a very calm, peaceful relationship with no drama. And you're feeling clearer than ever. And during those past few months, that was like the purging, as we call it, you may have found it hard to see progress, like really good progress and growth and momentum in your dreams, your goals, visions, things like that. There was growth there, but it may have felt like very small, like 0.5% at a time. You know what I mean? And now that this purging era of your life is either complete or nearly complete, and by the way, you may have another purging era in the future, years from now, because life is cyclical like that. I feel like you're entering a new chapter where personal manifestation is going to be at a very all-time high for you, because you're connected to your pure core being and soul, and it is unfiltered by that trauma, by the distractions, by energy vampires sucking at your energy, envious people, distractions, things like that you've been purging away. They were acting as a sort of filter, making that inner light, that inner complete connection a little bit more opaque and difficult to reach. Kind of like if you're listening to satellite radio and you go into a tunnel or into a place with a bunch of trees, it sort of covers up the ability for that connection to come to you very clearly. I feel like you've been sort of peeling away everything that has been making this connection weaker. And because of that, it is now very strong. You're on a very quick moving, I wish I knew the terminology for this metaphor, quick moving network here. And with thriving with the Magician in the Mirror, this is a chapter, the next 6 months feels to be very significant for whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. Health, wealth, love, abundance. I mean, you know what you're trying to manifest and it feels good. Okay. We have the blue moon, believe in the impossible. I'm not seeing that it's overnight success, because I feel like whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, you've been working really hard at it for a long time, and you've been making small improvements pretty much every day, little adjustments to your daily schedule, little adjustments to how you are going after your dreams, your goals, and your visions. And all of those things have been piling and piling and piling on top of each other throughout the months, throughout the years. And it's now reaching a point where it's creating a really quick, upward momentum in the next 6 months. I hope that makes sense. Okay, for example, let's just say you're trying to run a successful podcast. I don't know why this is always my example that I use. And you've been posting episodes consistently the same day every week with not that much growth in viewers, but there is a little bit of growth. And each week you think to yourself, okay, how can I make it a little bit better? How can I offer a little bit more? And you keep adding and adding and adding what you're offering in value, in quality. And all of those little things you've been adding are really piling up, and it is going to create this feeling of like overnight success, not necessarily overnight, but like a really hot, quick moving momentum in the next 6 months. However, it's not a true overnight success because you've been adjusting your vibration. I don't think overnight success is ever just a thing that randomly happens. You have adjusted your vibration and the things that you do in your physical reality to make you one who is a vibrational match to this dream, this goal that you are trying to achieve. I hope that makes sense. Okay, we have the new moon in Aries. It's time to take action. See, this is another wisdom that a lot of like, I guess you could say, newer to spirituality people struggle with, because a lot of people get caught up in praying, manifesting, and just wishing their dreams to come to life. But where they get caught up is not actually taking aligned action. And I think taking aligned action is the biggest thing you need to do. Okay, because I mean, when you're doing something, you are that thing. You're focused, you're in the zone, and you're vibrating at the frequency of like making those dreams happen. So I feel like in the next 6 months there is a ton of productivity from you, a ton of action that leads to this overall like huge sweeping manifestation to come through. And by the way, this manifestation feels to be in multiple areas of your life. We're gonna get some tarot to clarify, but yeah, you also have the cardinal moon. Be bold and make the first move. See, Aries is also a cardinal sign. Cardinal signs are initiators, doers, leaders, action takers. And yeah, I see a lot of boldness. I see a lot of going after what you want and doing the gosh darn thing. So really cool. I'm not trying to make this reading super duper long, but let's just select some tarot cards. I'm shuffling up the Philly tarot rep in my city. Okay, what does the next 6 months look like for you? We have the World in reverse. Beautiful. Yes, that is Danny DeVito. And yeah, I feel like this is perfectly describing you closing out one huge chapter of who you are as a person and opening up this new chapter. Group number 1, I feel like you are aging like fine wine, by the way. Like, again, it all comes back to these little habits that you incorporate. And the examples that I'm picking up from you guys, some of you are like making little adjustments to like your skincare routine, for example, dental hygiene, how you take care of your hair, little changes in the ingredients you use to make it more healthy, little adjustments in how you work to make it more efficient and productive. It's all of these little changes, and they're adding up tremendously. And you haven't just started making little changes, like you've been making little changes. So, and this is completely changing who you are. And guys, with this release card, with the World card in reverse, I definitely feel like a big sacrifice is being made here. And it doesn't feel like a sacrifice though. It's like the old parts of you that you used to connect with are really fading and falling away. So you were born into a certain family, a certain hometown, and that set you up with certain friends, relationships, hobbies, etc. But they weren't necessarily aligned with your soul. And for a lot of people who selected group number 1, I do see a distancing from certain individuals, hobbies, etc. that like sort of match the old you. Really, I'm seeing you completely reinventing yourself, except you're not inventing anything. You're simply peeling away the things that were imposed upon you and revealing the real you that was there all along. Oh, okay. Well, we're not going to take all of those cards, but let's see. Next 6 months for you. Okay. We have the Hierophant. Some of you may be, I'm seeing a lot of learning here. Learning new skills, taking on new forms of wisdom, new knowledge. I'm seeing this is a very lighthearted, fun type of learning. Some of you may be becoming bilingual, trilingual, quadruple lingual, learning new languages, learning new instruments, skills, things like that for sure. The Hierophant to me represents that traditional learning setting. And it can also represent having a good mentor and teacher by your side. So yeah, definitely embracing traditional forms of wisdom, learning, healing. Some of you guys may be even acting as this Hierophant for other people, guiding other people, to learning more of whatever you're teaching or healing, if you're a guide for healing. So yeah, we have the 5 of Pentacles. This can represent a feeling of lack, a feeling of exhaustion. I want to see what comes out right next to this. A lot of you are totally working super hard, taking so much action because you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You're sick and tired of being broke, tired, unhealthy, whatever it may be, lacking healthy relationships, like one after another. Group number 1, you may have experienced toxic relationship after toxic relationship, being broke after being broke, being sick after being sick, and you are just so sick and tired of the same thing over and over and over again. And this is the thing. That was the whole point of you going through all that toxicity, for you to get so frustrated with being in said toxicity that you stop hoping and praying that it'll change and you just start taking action and acting as your own God. Yeah, because that's the thing. You are the universe is you. You are God, God is you. Okay? So when you start taking divine action on changing the things in your life that you don't like, working towards the things in your life that you do want, doing physical things to step into the person that you want to be, the universe will match your frequency. The higher you ascend and grow your branches outward, the lower you must descend and grow roots into this earth, okay? Or else you will become unbalanced. If you grow your branches too high and not have physical actions being taken in this world and understanding the importance of your physical life, you could enter something like spiritual psychosis, okay? And vice versa. If you grow roots that are too deep without growing your branches too far out, you become way too involved and invested in this physical reality, and pain happens, suffering happens, with no feeling of purpose or direction in your life, not understanding who you are. So it's important to have a balanced energy there, and I feel like for a lot of you, you're growing them roots. You're taking more physical action in this physical world, taking more responsibility for your own suffering and happiness. You're understanding that through suffering and challenge, amazing blessings can come through. But I'm telling you, man, you're just so sick of the same negative cycle. And a lot of you are like relinquishing that pattern, relinquishing that cycle. I'm seeing a lot of people in group number 1, for example, are just totally giving up on dating for a hot second and just focusing on the things in your life that you feel like are lacking. We have the High Priestess, exactly. Very spiritually aware people. With the High Priestess and the Hierophant, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you selected group number 1 are also opening your own like spiritual business or spiritual practice. Okay, you are very much, a lot of you, on the shamanic path. So it doesn't matter what your passion, your hobby is. You're doing it with shamanic purpose. Okay, connecting the spiritual realm to the physical realm and facilitating that connection and a healing space for whoever you connect with, whoever you serve. Okay, beautiful. There's a lot of wisdom that you're sharing with people at this time, sharing your divine creations and really connecting within. Okay, let's see. If any of you resonate with the High Priestess, the Hierophant, and you are a teacher, therapist, tarot reader, psychic, even if you have a spiritual element in your craft, in your design, whether that be like, I don't know, a feng shui master, or even like someone who works with nature, an herbalist, if you resonate with that, I feel like your craft or passion or business is taking off to extreme levels. The phrase 6-figure income just popped into my mind, if this resonates with you. So you may be having a big bump. You know what? I feel like this card wants to come out. I'm just going to pull it out. Listen to our intuition here. We have the Empress coming out in reverse. And we have the Knight of Swords coming out in reverse. Yeah, a lot of you are stepping back from chasing love, and you're finding your own self-love for the time being, for the moment. And the funny thing is, I actually feel like that brings in love for you anyways. The Hierophant is a card of marriage, divine connection. But with the Empress in reverse, there is a need to stay on the abundant path. Keep doing what you can do. Keep focusing on what you do have as opposed to what you don't have. This has been such a massive message that's been coming through in my readings ever since January 2024, honestly. When Pluto shifted into Aquarius, this message just started coming through so much in readings, I'm telling you, because a lot of us fall into this trap of like being so focused on wanting to manifest what we don't have yet that we actually end up putting ourselves into a lack mindset. Okay? So for example, let's just say you want to manifest love into your life. Good, healthy love. Instead of sitting here and visualizing, hoping, praying, and wishing, what you should be doing is focusing on the love that you do have in the present moment. You know, spending more time with your friends, worshiping your friends, you know, bringing flowers to their house, nurturing those relationships, going out with them, nurture your pets, go out with them. Where does love already exist in your life? Nurture that. Because when you do that, and this is a message that actually came through from Aphrodite last night in a shamanic journey, and now it's coming through in your reading. She told me this would come through in a reading, and here it is. I totally forgot about this until just now. She was telling me that instead of necessarily worshiping the divine, your ancestors, deities, whatever, at an altar with traditional things such as, you know, flowers, coins, whatever, you can worship deities and energies in your everyday life. Okay, so Aphrodite is the goddess of love. You worship her by nurturing those who you love. You know, instead of giving her like flowers to your altar, if you gave someone you love flowers just because, that is just as impactful as offering her flowers, because she is love. She is that energy. That's how higher spirits and beings work. Like they literally are those things in this physical realm. That's how they show up in this physical realm. Every spirit has physical form somehow, some way. If they're able to connect with you while you're in your physical form, like they show up in this realm as well. So deities may not literally show up by coming through a portal and here I am, here's my body. They are here in terms of energy that's in so many different things. You know, they're all around us. And you can worship them and acknowledge them in your physical reality, and they will bring you blessings in return. So you acknowledging the love that's in your life, you will attract more love. You appreciating the kindness that others show you, the business that they show you, and really treating that as something special, you will attract more business, more kindness, and more abundance in general. So long story short, this next 6 months, I see you really practicing being in that abundant mindset. And you're being asked to try to avoid falling back into that lack mindset. Even if you are homeless, you got no legs, you have no friends, there is abundance somewhere in your life, okay? Maybe you have an abundance of people that you can talk to all throughout the day. Maybe you have an abundance of ideas in your mind that you want to get started on. Maybe you have an abundance of, I always use this example, books on your bookshelf to read that haven't been read yet. Maybe you have an abundance of people who want to hang out with you right now. And of course, there's going to be lack in your life as well. Like maybe some of you are so focused, like, I have no friends, I'm so lonely, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but what do you have? You might have a hobby that you're really into, so focus on that hobby. And through focusing on where the abundance lies, you will actually attract abundance into the areas of your life that lack abundance right now. So for example, if you're somebody who feels like they don't have any friends, but you're really, really obsessed with, I don't know, let's just say yoga, you can just focus on yoga. Maybe some of you start a yoga class. Maybe some of you go to one. Maybe some of you decide, you know, I'm going to start putting my yoga flows and stuff on Instagram, on YouTube, whatever. And through that, you may actually make a ton of friends or connect with a bunch of people. And you see, that's how focusing on abundance, that abundance will pour over into other areas of your life. So there's really no need for you to focus on the lack. And I feel a lot of you mastering this lesson in the next 6 months. You may have already been mastering this lesson. And as a result, that's why I'm seeing this like extreme flow of like manifestations coming towards you at this time in the next 6 months. So definitely enjoy it. With the Knight of Swords coming out in reverse, there's going to be a lot of quick moving changes in the next 6 months also. And you're being asked to stay calm, stay cool, and go with this flow. Believe in the impossible. There is going to be massive shifts taking place for you. I feel like a lot of people who selected group number 1, business is taking off. You may be letting go or de-escalating certain relationships in your life that you would have never thought you would be de-escalating. But the reason for it is you're ascending your vibration and realizing that you're wanting something a little bit more, or that person, place, or thing just may not offer you what you need, what you want. Something like that. Whatever your story is, I feel like big, beautiful changes are coming your way, okay? These next 6 months, a lot of you're putting yourself out there a lot more, especially in a spiritual way, in a healing way, giving advice, sharing your thoughts, your creativity, your feelings. And from sharing what you do have with the world, that abundance pours over into the areas and things that you don't have. And this will pour over into like all areas of life. So let's go back to that podcaster example. Maybe that person who does those podcasts feels like they don't have that much money, or they don't have that many people to connect with who want a healthy relationship with them. The more they keep putting themselves out there and making those 1% improvements, that podcast may take off. They may suddenly end up in like a 6-figure entrepreneurship there from that podcast. And people may start to see that podcast, and certain individuals who really, really resonate may reach out to them, may want to meet up with them, and they may find the friends that they were looking for by doing that. So I'm seeing that type of story, but apply it to whatever your life looks like and whatever you're into, okay? Thank you guys for joining me. Definitely enjoy the next 6 months. Like this video, comment how it resonated down below, and subscribe if you have not already. If you want personal reading with me one-on-one, the link to that is always in the description box, spiritpsychic.org. I also offer my intention oils there and spiritual life coaching sessions there, so check it out. Bye-bye. Hello, group number 2, and welcome. You guys selected the Lapis Lazuli. This is a very regal, powerful stone. And honestly, my personal interpretations, the energy I feel off this stone is extremely powerful at protecting you from jealousy. Okay, so it helps you step more into your own power, your own royalty. And in the process of doing so, a lot of lower vibrational people get jealous, and this stone also helps ward off jealousy. And the reason why I love this stone so much is because I had a very powerful experience with this. Man, I had this person, and I never met this person in my life. I was very close to someone, and they were close to someone else. Like, they had a best friend, and how do I put this? That best friend was like the female best friend, quote unquote, really actually into their best friend that was interested in me. And I started having dreams that this girl who I've never met was like really standoffish to me, really jealous, like, and just giving off some evil energy, to be honest. And there was also some signs that she actually felt that way. And so I felt intuitively drawn to this stone without even knowing what a lot of people claim its spiritual purpose and properties are. And I bought 2 of them, and one of them I completely lost. Like, I have no idea where it went. And to me, when that happens, it is because the stone completely did its job, and like it cannot serve you any longer. It has to like go off and like take some time away and like recharge, re-cleanse itself. And after I lost that second stone, that girl completely stopped all signs of being jealous, of being weird, and they actually sort of shifted energies a little bit, and they just didn't care about me. Honestly, like, they weren't like, oh my gosh, best friend. Like, they just didn't care. And I still never met them, but the dream stopped, the energy stopped. So it's a very powerful stone for that. Highly recommend getting it and keeping it on you if you feel like there are jealous people around you. Okay. So what's the next 6 months for you look like? We have miracles. I love that. Wow. really big blessings that you didn't even think could be possible may be occurring for you. So beautiful message there. We have diligence. Wow, hard working. Definitely, I'm seeing a lot of integrity going into what you're trying to accomplish here. I don't know why I'm getting a vision of like a strong, hardworking family person. Okay, so for some of you, if you're single, or some of you may actually be recently married or in a relationship, you're with someone or will be with someone who is really like high integrity when it comes to their relationships. Like this is the type of person who will unfollow all of the creepy accounts of like just a bunch of women or a bunch of men that they have because they don't want to embarrass you. They will, show up, they will buy you flowers, they will cook you dinner, whatever your thing is. They just want to have a healthy, good relationship. So, and this may be something that a lot of you have been lacking in your life. Someone who actually can facilitate a nice, beautiful relationship. And I'm seeing like having all 5 of the love languages fulfilled. I'm a big believer that the 5 love languages aren't necessarily a thing. Like, sure, there's love languages that are more important or less important to all of us. However, I feel like I want all 5, like in my relationships, I want all 5. Like, I want you to touch me. I want you to give me words of affirmation. I would like gifts on special occasions and randomly. Quality time, of course, whatever the other one, acts of service, would love that. And I feel like I also give off that energy. And I'm feeling the same for you, group number 2, where you're attracting people who are really good at being friends, relationship, whatever it may be. People are really stepping up and just loving you in the way that you deserve to be loved. So I love that message. We have flexibility coming through with this beautiful tiger spirit here. Interesting. You know what this is giving me? And we see the bamboo, which is very flexible. I feel like you are being flexible when it comes to your life path. And you're very open to making certain changes if you were to find the right friends, the right relationship. For example, a lot of you, you wouldn't mind switching cities, like moving somewhere completely different if you were in a healthy relationship with someone who it was like really important for them to do that. Or maybe some of you wouldn't mind having a baby or 2 if you found someone who wants that also, but you also wouldn't mind keeping it. I'm seeing you're the flexible one here. And I mean, I know I gave relationship examples, but it doesn't even have to do with relationships. This could be like, yeah, you wouldn't mind staying in and having like a friendship where you just go to each other's houses and like gossip, but you also wouldn't mind having a friendship where you went on these extravagant trips, traveling, going out, going to the city, whatever. So I feel like that flexibility and that openness really serves you a lot. I feel like there is going to be a different variety of opportunities and people entering your life in the next 6 months that will serve different needs within you. And I think it's really cool because you're attracting people who have the same diligence, the same integrity that you put into your relationships. I know this isn't necessarily a relationship reading, but I don't know why I'm talking about relationships right now. There's probably going to be some pretty good connections entering your life if they're not here already. All right, we have the 2nd chakra in reverse. This is your sacral chakra. Fascinating. So what I'm seeing here is that your spirit guides, your angels, your ancestors are wanting to work with you on your sacral chakra. So what does this mean? A lot of you who selected group number 2, you may have been neglecting your art, whatever your art is, whether you like dancing or painting or crocheting or whatever it is, singing. You may have been letting other life things sort of get in the way of that. And I am seeing a revival of your inner artist coming through. Another thing that I'm seeing here, a lot of y'all, your love life may have been dry, okay? Like, I'm seeing a revival in sexuality, passion in that regard as well. Now, I am well aware that a lot of you may be arguing, well, Laura, I'm not creative at all, or Laura, I'm asexual. That's fine. Whatever you like to do with your sacral chakra energy, and you can look up sacral chakra if you are not familiar. However you express that energy, I'm seeing more of that. And if you are having a hard time finding how you express that energy, that's all the more reason why your spirit guides are working with you on your sacral chakra. in these next 6 months. I'm seeing they are wanting you to tune back into this more passionate side of life. And the sacral chakra is a lower chakra, lower energy, meaning it is more physically based. Okay, so like gut feelings. I feel like the sacral chakra is equally as intuitive as our third eye chakra, but it's more so that gut feeling, that physical animalistic feeling of like, I should just do this. It's not thought. It's not, I think I should do this. It's just an instinct. Just like when you're creating a piece of art. So for example, I like painting. And sometimes there's absolutely no reason that I should like paint something or use a certain color, but I just have this feeling like, oh, orange would look good there. That's sacral chakra energy. Just, I feel like that would look good. I'm just going to do it and see what happens and go from there. And same thing in sexuality. This feels good. There's no rhyme or reason or logic to it. I'm just going to do what feels good, what feels right. And so this sacral chakra energy is very spontaneous, feeling based, physical, primal, and you're connecting back with that, okay? Because that energy may have been a bit blocked for whatever reason that may be. For some of you, okay, this is a little bit of a darker message here. For a few of you watching, within the past year or two, you may have been assaulted sexually. Trigger warning. And for a while, Spirit is saying it was good for you to sort of shut down this chakra for a bit to heal, okay, to recollect yourself, that almost like a trauma response. This is how our body reacts sometimes. Like if there's other areas of life that you have to focus on, like say you had to keep showing up to work, you had to stay strong, quote unquote strong, you had to show up for your children, whatever it may be, you may not have necessarily given yourself the immediate time, space, and energy to heal from what happened. And so this sacral chakra may have shut down. Okay. Or another example, it doesn't have to be assault. Some of you guys watching, you may have had a creative work of yours heavily critiqued, and it just really made you lose all motivation to keep going. And these things happen from time to time. They're like hits to that chakra, to that energy system in our body. And so you may have put down the paintbrush or stopped writing for a little bit because you just wanted to take a break and heal. Like you didn't want to risk yourself getting hurt again. But Spirit is working with you to open these energies back up. And they're saying, listen, what you went through was very challenging, very hard. There was no need for such painful afflictions. However, that's not a reason to shut down this part of you forever. And so I am seeing angels working with you to gently open this part of you back up. And I'm seeing this flower blossoming again. A lot of you may feel the sparks of passion returning to you, the sparks of creativity returning to you in the next 6 months. We have walking away. Yeah, I don't know why, man. Like, oh my gosh, for months now, I keep getting messages of like walking away, letting go from people who don't serve you anymore. And we see here she's exiting a gate, exiting a garden. And, the plants here are good, but it's like there's more for her to find in the world. And she's looking back with gratitude at what she's walking away from. I'm seeing a similar journey for you. So I just saw 11:11 on the camera timer. So that's a sign there are new beginnings happening, awaiting for you. But in the next 6 months, you may be saying a few goodbyes to people. They may be moving. You may be moving on. People may be growing apart. You just may not be at a vibrational match. I almost feel like this is a part of life that is inevitable, and it doesn't matter. This message always comes up when I do timing readings. Whether it's 6 months, whether it's 1 week. On my second channel, I only do timing readings, like the week ahead, the month ahead, the quarter ahead, the year ahead. And there's always messages of walking away. So I'm not surprised that this is coming out for you. You may be saying some goodbyes. We have Deceit in reverse. Now, don't get this card twisted. This is a really good card to come out in reverse. And what this is, it's actually confirming what we picked up on earlier. A lot of you guys have experienced some sort of assault to your being, okay? Emotional, physical, fill in the blank, whatever. Someone in your past may have lied to you, been deceitful, been violent, selfish, whatever. And that was a wounding to your aura, your energy, and your soul. Now, what this card indicates is that the deceit is behind you. It's not saying that you should get back with this person. No, because this is coming out with the walking away card. What this is saying is that although this experience of going through this deceit was very painful and unnecessary, you do recognize the red flags now. You do understand what does not work. You're wiser because of this experience, less naive, as painful as it may have been. And Spirit is saying there is very low chance that you will meet someone deceitful and be attracted to them in the future, because you had a wounding. How do I put this? You know how PTSD forms? It's when you have a trauma and there's something random like associated with that trauma. Like say something traumatized you and you were in like a room that was painted blue. Okay, if you don't properly heal from that and have support around you, in the future, you may, for example, like be in a room that's painted the color blue and may start getting anxiety and you don't know why. Or maybe having flashbacks, things like that. Okay, because your mind associates pain with like, it's just conditioning, okay? So even though you've been through deceit, those red flags are now conditioned to like pair up with pain. That is why your mind does that. So it actually does serve a purpose. And I feel like the positive aspect of your mind doing that is working for you now. Okay, so I feel like many of you, you're finding yourself in an increasingly secure attachment style when it comes to your relationships. Okay, you're conditioning yourself and have been conditioned to be turned off by emotional unavailability, deceitful behavior, red flags. Like in the past, you may have, as my friend says, chased after red flags as if they're checkpoints. But, I feel like you're over it and you're finding yourself less and less attracted to that type of behavior as time goes on, which is a good thing. And you're walking away from that behavior. And when that behavior shows up for you in the future, in the next 6 months, you're going to be like, no, thank you. Very quickly. And this deceit card in reverse is a promise from the universe that you can open your heart up again. Because after going through a lot of that, you may be very vigilant, very on edge, very like a lot slower to open your heart up to certain people, to new experiences. And this is a promise, Spirit saying, trust yourself, trust the process. Okay. If you don't see anything questionable, it's safe for you to try to build trust with this person. One of the best tools that I myself have learned after I experienced a lot of trauma in relationships and trauma in general is like consciously studying up on how to build trust in a healthy way. Because previously, and I've been talking about this in readings a lot, so a lot of people, like this is just coming through for the collective right now. A lot of people, and what I used to do was just throw trust out like it was nothing, like overshare everything about myself, which I didn't realize at the time was building attachment and vulnerability and this feeling of like love in people at a really fast rate. And that's not good, because you need to like slowly build up trust. Like, okay, if I invite you to something, will you show up on time? That's a small thing, but that's one way that you can slowly build up trust. If you're coming over and I say, hey, like, can you pick this thing up? Will you do it for me? Again, small little thing, but that shows like, oh, okay, you're reliable. I can trust you. If you say you're going to do something, are you actually going to do it? Again, very small thing, but it's another step to trust. And building trust should be like this staircase that slowly builds, not an elevator that just sends you straight to the top without the little steps in between. Because when you trust someone who is untrustworthy for the big stuff, like telling the truth, not cheating on you, etc., wow, and it's always when we get the most hurt and we finally walk away that we realize the signs were there. We just didn't pay attention to them. What this card is saying is you're not going to do that to yourself again. I strongly feel like, the choice is yours. You have free will, but most of you select the group number 2, very low chance that you're going to do that to yourself again. So trust yourself to protect yourself, but also keep yourself open to new experiences. a lot of you may be completely turned off to the thought of opening yourself back up to new friends, new relationships. And a lot of you may have been taking a break from one of those things, whether it have been art, creativity, friendships, lovers, relationships, dating. You may have been taking a break, and that break may have served you a lot, connected you back with yourself. And Spirit's helping you open back up is essentially what we're saying here. We have the gibbous moon. You're very close to achieving your goal. I see so much manifestation for spiritually aware people in general in the upcoming years. So I'm very excited about that. And we see that here as well. We see the new moon in Virgo, a time to give rather than take. Virgo energy to me reminds me of like taking care of pets, children, elderly people, a garden. It's the things in our life that we have a responsibility for to nurture. And that work is very fulfilling work. So I am seeing you connecting with more things that are fulfilling like that. So you're increasing your responsibilities, but in a way that's fulfilling. So a lot of you who's like group number 2, you may be adopting a new pet. Okay. You may be fostering children or having children. You may be really growing expanding gardening, plants, things like that. You may be even like taking on a more hospitable approach to life, offering your home as like Airbnb, couch surfing, maybe even creating a little campsite on your property, whatever it may be. I'm seeing a lot of hospitality being increased or fulfilling responsibility coming through. So, and we talk about the importance of giving to charity, and immediately our minds jump to things like soup kitchens and things like that. And a lot of people aren't going to do that. A lot of people aren't going to go to a soup kitchen. A lot of people aren't going to, go to the local shelter. If you do, that's awesome. But I just want to say, like, you can tune into this charitable, hospitable Virgo energy through other means. Like we said, like taking in a cat or a dog that needs a home, or growing native plants on your property to support the ecosystem. That is a form of giving. That is a form of nurturing Mama Earth. And that is a form of charity. Okay. And then we have the new moon in Capricorn. Your hard work is paying off. So this is now 2 cards here saying your hard work is paying off. You're very close to achieving your goal. Miracles. Oh my gosh. Diligence. And these earth signs, there's a ton of like, you're putting in more work than ever towards your work, like your career or education. Okay. I see that very strongly. I'm also seeing putting more work in than ever towards being healthy, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's being diligent with your mental health or your physical health or both. Okay. Even like sexual health. If any of y'all are into like casual stuff, you're being very diligent about like getting tests and being safe, etc. So whatever you're doing in life, you're being more diligent, more hardworking, more consistent as well. Not just with things like that, but also if you're a creative, like we said, you're opening these creative channels back up and you're being more diligent and hardworking with that. Like, so every day at the hour of 7 p.m., for example, that it may be your time to connect with your craft. That may be your time to write. That may be your time to garden. That may be your time to paint or sew. I am seeing more consistency in your creative expansion and creative channeling, which is really cool. So let's dive into the tarot now. I am shuffling up the Philly tarot to represent my city. So what will happen for you in the next 6 months? What is happening for group number 2 in the next 6 months? Also, if you are not a tarot reader, please do not criticize how I select cards. I've been getting a few comments recently saying, oh, they're all in reverse. Yeah, that's how I read cards, upright and in reverse. Or, oh, they're just falling out. Yeah, that's how I pick cards. I pick very intuitively. It's not always the same. The High Priestess is coming out in reverse. And what do you know? This is oftentimes a card of deceit and not seeing things, not having the truth here. I'm going to be honest with you, group number 2. A lot of you are a little bit afraid of people pulling a fast one on you or giving more than you receive in relationships, because in the past you may have given so much to people and now you're in this place of like overly protecting yourself, it seems, because you are so afraid that others are going to take way more than they give. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. However, I feel like Spirit's trying to balance the scales out so that way you're still, aware and vigilant, but you're also opening yourself up a bit more. The High Priestess in reverse also speaks about not listening to your intuition about something. So I want to get more clarity on this. More clarity on the High Priestess, por favor. All right, we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. Yeah, this is definitely talking about love, connections, and creativity. These are like the biggest areas of life for the next 6 months. And in reverse here, this is someone who they come into your life and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to be your best friend. Like, we could do this, we could do that. Or, yeah, I want a relationship, blah, 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 blah. But then once it gets like serious and you have to have like serious discussions, or you have your first argument, or life struggles and stress reaches them, they're nowhere to be found. Okay, so these are people who constantly chase the highs of like the honeymoon phase. They're wanting attention, they're wanting their ego stroked, but they're not actually emotionally mature enough to actually stick around for the good parts of the relationship, you know? So the Knight of Cups in reverse reminds me of someone who is like constantly in and out of relationships. Like, once the passion dies down a little bit, or once, you know, you have your first argument or whatever, whenever life hits, they say like, oh, well, I could find better in someone else. And they just keep constantly chasing that high, not having the maturity to realize there is not a single person on this planet that you're going to be like 100% passionate about 100% of the time. And in fact, I think the most beautiful parts of relationships is years down the line, when you fully trust each other and you're like best friends. And yeah, of course you don't have those butterflies in your stomach feeling all the time, because you live together, you see each other all the time, whatever. But like, I think it's a give and take. Like, yeah, that honeymoon phase is so fun and exciting, but you don't have that trust yet. You know, there's still a little bit of anxiety. There's still, you know, not knowing that person. And I feel like something more long-term is just so irreplaceable. And I am seeing here, some of you may be connected to someone or were connected to someone who was very much like this Knight of Cups in reverse, not having the maturity to see what they had when they have it, you know, constantly overwhelmed with choice. You know, someone watching here, very specific message coming through. You may have been dating someone who was like still using dating apps. I'm seeing dating apps coming up here, like constantly being spoiled for choice, and letting that completely ruin their perspective. Or even random message could have had a porn addiction as well. Okay, and what that does to your mind is you become so desensitized to dopamine, so desensitized to real human relationships and bodies, and you just need more and more and more stimulation, falseness, fakeness, to be at your base level of happiness. And Spirit is saying it was not your fault if that happened to you. The person you were connecting with had a problem, an addiction. They were desensitized. And I hope and pray that one day that person can heal from that and resensitize themselves, because that is a very miserable existence, needing extreme amounts of input. It's addicting as well. Extreme amounts of input and dopamine and stimulation in order to be a base level, like neutral, happy, content. And Spirit is saying that moving on in the future, they're trying to bring you people who are not like that, okay? They're trying to bring you people who are a bit more conscious. I'm seeing someone coming in your future who is very much more conscious. This may be someone who, for example, like they don't watch porn, or they're not into dating apps, or whether it's a friend or romantic or whatever, it doesn't matter. They're very conscious about the foods they eat. You know, maybe they don't want all these artificial sweeteners and sugars. Like, they want to like sensitize their palate to natural fruits and things like that. Like, they're very consciously aware of that. That's someone I see coming in, or people I see coming in for you. Spirit is saying you are not compatible. Straight up, you are not compatible with people who are desensitized. And it's not to point the finger and blame, you know. I'm sure you may have been like that. I am like that. A lot of us are like that. Society raises us to be like that. And Spirit is saying there's nothing evil or wrong about people in your past who were like that, unless they cheated on you, because I honestly do feel like a lot of you experienced that cheating, that deceit in the past from this person, okay? Because they needed that constant stimulation. It's like an iPad kid, but as an adult. You know, they can't just sit down and enjoy a car ride for the breeze, for the sights. Like, they need that extreme amount of stimulation. Could have even been addicted to their phone. Overall, there was a lot of signs within them, whoever this may have been, of like needing high levels of stimulation. Okay. And has nothing to do with mental disorders. For example, I have ADHD. People with ADHD tend to either need a lot of stimulation or be overstimulated. I feel like that's irrelevant in this reading for some reason. It's like they were truly addicted, okay? Spirit is saying you are completely incompatible with people like that. They are not evil. And they may have cheated, lied to you, whatever, because they were in that cycle and they needed extra stimulation to like literally just not want to kill themselves. And they may have hurt you in the process because they have a hard time being vulnerable, open, and authentic because they're desensitized to that, okay? And yes, that is evil of someone to lie, to cheat, to steal. It is. However, I think you can understand where this person was coming from, and Spirit is saying, don't go back. It's not your job to heal them. It's not your job to honestly even forgive. Forgiveness is for your own good, for your own heart. It's never for someone else. And yeah, I feel like in the next 6 months, Spirit is, you're at different levels, group number 2. Some of you, Spirit's guiding you to completely, overcome your attachment to someone like that. And if you feel like you are pretty much overcome that attachment to this person or these people, Spirit is bringing you people who are much more compatible, people who are sensitive, okay? Not needing very high levels of stimulation to the point where they sabotage connections and relationships. All right, I hope that made sense. Also, something I'm seeing, if any of you personally identify as someone who needs a very high amount of stimulation, for example, sugar addiction, I can relate to that. Feeling like you're addicted to the cycle of like going on social media all the time, addicted to like constantly having to do something, addicted to caffeine. I feel like Spirit is also walking you through releasing a lot of that, okay? This Knight of Cups reverse person, that was me, honestly. I'm going to be honest. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, don't judge yourself. Don't shame yourself. That was me. I was addicted to caffeine horrifically to the point where, like, I was literally giving myself heart problems and skin problems and just problems in general, okay? I was all over dating apps, like, totally connecting with new friends, new people, new experiences all the time. I was that seeker at one point, and I've been on a year-long journey of releasing all of that, quitting dating apps, porn, caffeine, everything. So I totally get where you guys are coming from and the type of person that you may be dealing with, okay? And this is what you're leaving behind. That's what you're walking away from. Okay, let's see what else wants to come out next 6 months. Next 6 months. I am seeing a decrease in technology use. Also, going out, enjoying the breeze more, real life things. And we see that in the 3 of Cups here as well. Prioritizing your real life experiences and people. I am seeing, like I said, going out more, being with people more. I'm getting a vision of like just being in a park, like an open space, enjoying the sunlight, enjoying the breeze, maybe even like, I don't know, throwing a ball around, playing tennis or something, whatever you do. And keeping your phone at home or like in your bag on silent. I'm literally seeing a natural decrease in your technology use. Not to demonize technology. I am speaking to you on YouTube through your device. I love technology. I love the internet. I would not be here if I didn't. And I feel like a lot of spiritual people and practitioners demonize the internet and technology, which is so ironic. I love it. I think the internet is fantastic and connects all of us on levels that, wouldn't be possible. I feel like the internet is the modern day Library of Alexandria. And it's great. However, it can definitely be addicting and people can let their real life fall to the wayside, and I see you reclaiming your life. We have the 9 of Cups coming out in reverse. Yeah, increased personal happiness. I feel like you're working on focusing on the things that make you happy. Okay, I'm also seeing getting your life together, building up financial independence and stability, as well as emotional independence and stability. Not to say that, you don't need anyone ever. Everyone needs a community. and you're finding that community for yourself. You're connecting with, clearly, with the Three of Cups. There's going to be a lot of events for you, a lot of socializing for you in the next 6 months, okay? A lot of going out, a lot of fun times. You're definitely not going to be lonely. That is for sure. Okay, let's see what else wants to come out next 6 months. We have the moon. I don't like the moon card that often, to be honest, because to me, this is like this feeling of, I have no idea how the future is going to unfold, but you're just trusting your instincts, your intuition. And actually, I do kind of like the moon in this reading, though, because you go from the High Priestess in reverse to the moon, which shows you not listening to your intuition, staying in relationships and situations and things that go against your intuition, to just trusting with the moon. Like, I don't know where life is taking me. I'm just trusting that in each present moment, I will just know what to do and I will have the tools to do it, whatever I need to do in that moment. So that is pretty cool. And I almost feel like a sense of mystery in the next 6 months where spirit almost doesn't even want to tell you what you're going to manifest because you won't believe it, because I feel like it's pretty big. And it's going to be something that's only achievable day by day, one step at a time, by listening to your intuition and just taking action. Okay. We have the Four of Cups in reverse. This is this energy of like, will I ever meet my soulmate? Will I ever have, my soul tribe, my people who get me? Spirit is saying yes. And again, this next 6 months feels very heavy on like your spirit guides wanting to connect you with the right people and connect you back with your passions, with your creativity. And yeah, I feel like the more you do that and open up that sacral chakra, there is definitely opportunities here, social and romantic opportunities for you guys to connect with people who are so well aligned with you. I feel love. I feel a new relationship for a lot of you watching, to be honest, if you're single. And not only that, but like really vibing with friendships and the people around you, feeling like you have a good community that you feel comfortable in, a good support system that you feel comfortable in. And I'm seeing you creating and sharing your creations so much more. That seems to be the two like biggest overall themes, in addition to like working really hard and being really diligent. We have the 10 of Pentacles in reverse as your final card. Yeah. Working hard to save up a lot of money. Some of you may be saving up for property, a car, a legacy, retirement, whatever it may be. And the 10 of Pentacles also shows not only that physical wealth, but having people in your life to share it with. Yeah, I get visions of like marriage, like a family person that you're connecting with who's like just so into you, who treats you right. And, having the animals that you love, the plants you love, the home you love, whatever. Like these are all things that you are developing and enjoying and working on in the next 6 months. And I think the universe will give you a lot of surprises along the way. But keep doing what you're doing. I hope this reading helped. Thank you guys so much for being here. Like this reading, this video, comment how it resonated down below, and subscribe to the channel if you've not already. If you want a personal reading with me one-on-one, the link to that is always in the description box, spiritpsychic.org. I also offer my intention oils there and spiritual life coaching sessions there, so check it out. Bye-bye. Hola, Grupo Tres. Welcome. You selected the Amazonite stone. And to me, the Amazonite really rules over all things throat chakra. And it's really great to help you express yourself, communicate. It helps soothe your nerves and open up a little bit more. So I really love this stone. I especially feel gravitated to hold it and touch it whenever I feel like I need to have crystal clear speaking. And maybe, especially if I'm having trouble communicating about a certain topic or dealing with a difficult person in terms of communication. So to me, it's a great stone for communicating. There's a lot of different uses for it for people all around the world. You have protection coming out as your first card to represent the next 6 months for you. I feel like there's a lot of spirits around you at this time, keeping your energy safe. And also, I'm getting a strong, protective, divine masculine energy around you. If you selected group number 3, I'm wondering if a lot of you have a lot of men in your life, friends, brothers, father, uncles, things like that. There may be a lot of divine masculine energy around you at this time. You may find yourself driven to certain hobbies or pastimes that are male predominated. And I don't know, I'm getting this sort of protective, loving, like brotherly uncle type of energy surrounding you. Even if you are a man yourself or a masculine energy person yourself, I feel like there's this sort of like brotherhood thing going on here that may be very significant for you in the next 6 months. We have Gateway coming out. This is honestly an awesome card because this is showing those areas of the world that have really thin veils. Like the veil between spirit and the physical realm is very thin. There are certain locations where this is palpable, like you can feel Fae energy around you or a strong spiritual significance. And it's really in the most random of places. Like oftentimes there's certain spots in the woods that I feel like, okay, there's a lot of like fairies or like nymph energy around here, elf energy around here, siren energy, whatever, insert whatever energy. And it's in these locations that our thoughts become reality very, very quickly. Our spiritual power is just raw, connected, and it's a place where you can do profound amounts of healing, change. There's like this sort of magical overlay. If you're in these locations with people, you feel really, really connected. It's very special. You know, the energy is so different in different locations. It is crazy. Yeah, like I remember growing up, I had a back room in my house, and I don't know what it was about this back room, but there was just always spiritual things happening back there. And for a few years of my life, I actually slept back there. It was really creepy, honestly. But yeah, a lot, like the veil was very, very thin there, which caused me trouble at the time because I was having like a mediumship awakening and I didn't have any mentor. So I didn't know how to protect myself at the time. And I had a lot of like negative paranormal activity there as well as positive paranormal activity. But yeah, you guys may be going to locations on this planet where the veil is very thin. And actually, right before I started your reading, I have one of those wallpapers on my laptop that like changes every few minutes. And right now, it's like this waterfall. I'm going to click the button that tells me what it is. I can't show you, but oh, it's the Cascades of Chapada, which is in Brazil at a Brazilian national park that was founded in 1961. So some of you guys, Brazil may be a significant place for you at this time. Some of you watching may be Brazilian. You may be making a trip to Brazil, or even if you're not having any associations with Brazil, I'm just drawn into this picture because this location feels like one of those spots that I was just trying to describe to you where the veil feels really, really thin. There's a strong magic, earth magic. And so I am wondering if some of you are taking trips, adventures, journeys to national parks and places like that that are still just in their raw, authentic state. We have delight, delightful. And, you know, the first images that popped in my mind, I was seeing muffins. Weirdly enough, I was seeing croissants. I was seeing baked goods. I am wondering if some of you are getting into baking for whatever reason. Okay, I'm also seeing just more cooking in general. Oddly enough, I'm wondering if some of you are teaching yourself how to cook. Someone here is opening a pastry shop or a bake shop, something like that. Or creating like a part-time business, selling baked goods out of your house. I'm also seeing an image here. Someone is growing things like microgreens, mushrooms, something like that, and you're selling it to local food stores, but you're doing that from your home. There's something about food and your home, meal prepping more, paying more attention to each meal. So for example, you may have focused on one meal, like, okay, you make dinners all the time, but when it comes to like breakfast and lunch, you kind of just wing it all the time. And you're trying to be more intentional about food. I see for a lot of you watching, you may have this overall goal to reduce the additives, artificial flavors, things like that in your food. Someone here, a lot of you here watching, may have this goal to cook all of your food from scratch, like even things like mayonnaise and I don't know why that was the first thing that popped in my head. Bread, like you're looking to make everything from scratch, from raw ingredients. Because first off, it tastes amazing. It tastes so much better when you make everything yourself. Can't even describe it. Like I'm at the point in my own culinary journey where restaurant food tastes the same level as home cooking. So I don't even enjoy restaurants anymore. But I don't know, why am I talking so much about cooking? There's something with food for a lot of you. Someone here, your partner or your best friend is opening up a restaurant or some sort of bakery. Okay, so it might not be you. It could also be someone very close to you opening a location, dealing with food. Really fascinating. But I'm seeing you enjoying the little things in life, finding delight in the little things in life. Now I'm getting an image of perfumes. Someone here is getting into perfume making, designing your own scents with essential oils and mixing things. So many specific things for you guys. I see group number 3. It doesn't matter what the specific is for you. I'm seeing you get into these little, very like hyper specialized interests that are creative, and I see making a profit from them. I'm not one of those people that thinks you have to monetize and sell all of your hobbies. I mean, I have a ton of hobbies and I keep a lot of them just to myself. Like, I don't sell my artwork. I just do it for myself, honestly. So I'm not saying you need to sell things, but I am seeing for you, group number 3, a lot of you are dabbling into something and just like seeing if it sells. If it doesn't, you're going to enjoy it yourself anyways. Okay. And there's so many examples of this, like, that are popping into my mind. I'm tuning into a lot of you right now. I'm seeing growing like baby plants, having like a little greenery out of your own house and trying to sell those plants. But you see, here's the thing. It's not that you're necessarily making a killing, like a living, but it's just something on the side that you really enjoy. And you're like, if it sells, that's awesome. Why not? Like, it's like you're making something for yourself, but there's enough left over to either save or sell, and you're trying to sell them. And then if you need more, you'll make more. It's something like that. Some of you guys, it's like getting into homesteading, even if you don't have like a bunch of land, and even if you don't even have a backyard, like you're trying to do what you can to live that lifestyle, making things from scratch, doing things yourself. I'm seeing a revival in the collective right now of people backing away from consumerism and tuning into the wisdom and the value of doing things yourself, making things to last. I mean, just the other day, I saw like a reel or TikTok or something of a woman laying her own foundation for a home that she was building. And everyone told her like, oh, you're crazy. But like, keep in mind, like not that long ago, a few decades ago, everyone built their own house. Like that was the family house. The family built the house. It's not that unusual. And I'm seeing a revival of that. So the next 6 months, I feel group number 3, you're very like hardcore into DIY energies. And that may take you down very specific, unusual paths that you're just vibing with. You're just going with. Like, I always tell people, being in poverty was like the most stressful time of my life. However, it bred so much creativity into my soul, because when you can't afford things, you have to make do. Like I got into foraging for plants, growing herbs and vegetables in like the smallest piece of land possible. Just making things out of almost nothing and selling them. Like there's so many thrifting. There's so much I learned from that time. There's so much you can learn, and you don't have to be in poverty to see the value in that. So really cool stuff there. We have Goddess of the Moon coming out in reverse, and this is a call for you to return back to your intuitive self and hear what your spirit guides are trying to say, what your higher self is trying to say. Let's see what else comes out. The 3rd chakra in reverse. You know what's really funny is that every single group for the next 6 months had a different chakra come out in reverse. So it feels like you're all being guided to heal different parts of yourself. And yours is the solar plexus chakra, your confidence. And you know what's funny? I think that learning new skills and DIYing is a huge confidence builder. Going from not knowing something at all and feeling like it's so out of reach for you to just getting started, learning about it and doing it yourself, that builds so much confidence. It makes you more well-read. It gives you more experience. It gives you something to talk about. Like, oh yeah, I just put in my own hardwood floors in my house this past weekend. It was awful. It was hard, but I did it and it looks amazing. Would you like to see some photos? It gives you something to talk about. It makes you interesting. And if any of you have been suffering from confidence, self-esteem issues, I'm telling you, like, just learning is the way to go, man. I mean, affirmations, of course, be kind to yourself, of course, but looking at things that you view as impossible or so out of your reach and doing them, that's what builds confidence. I know a lot of people could never see themselves traveling alone or going to a restaurant alone or laying their own foundation, building their own shed, for example. But what if you tried? I mean, Google, guys. Google teaches you so much. It gives you so many resources. It baffles me the amount of people who don't use resources like Google, and then they ask silly questions that are easily searchable. I mean, even if you're not into the internet, like encyclopedias, man, they're at every library. I wonder if younger kids even know what encyclopedias are. But yeah, man, learning is like, why do I keep calling you man? Learning is such a confidence booster. So I am seeing you teaching yourself new things, which is really, really cool. We have hostilities in reverse. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. It's not that the readings have been similar. It's just the pattern of the cards coming out is extremely similar. Like every single group had a chakra in reverse, and now every single group has a card that would be bad upright come out in reverse, which is actually good. And this is your card that would be bad upright, but is better in reverse here. What this is showing is that a lot of you for the past few months may have experienced some hostilities, some arguments, some ill-tempered individuals, and they're calming down. Those individuals are calming down, and I think the next 6 months is going to be very calm for you, okay? Not very drama-filled at all, which is great. We love that, and I mean, the Delight card came out as well, so there is an energy here of just positivity in general. No drama. Just, I'm seeing a lot of home renovations for a lot of you, honestly. And just things like that, just taking delight in your home. Even if your home is like rented, you're just making it your space. Really taking good care of what you have, even if it's not much, Even if all you have is a suitcase full of clothes, you're really taking care of them clothes. You're really taking care of them, that suitcase, fixing up any holes that may exist in it, oiling up the wheels, shining them shoes, whatever it may be, taking good care of your things. Very materialistic in a positive way. I'm thinking of Marie Kondo. I'm thinking of Feng Shui. It is such good luck to take care of what you got and to nurture what you got. When you let your personal objects and your home go neglected, it is really a reflection of neglecting yourself. And while I'm not a minimalist, I do totally agree with the minimalist concept of having high quality items that bring you joy or serve a purpose, and making everything useful. I think it is quite negative energy to have things around that are broken, neglected, unused, unappreciated. It's quite sad, and it can increase negative energy. So I don't know why I'm just seeing these next 6 months, a lot of you guys may be doing some major renovations, major upgrades, and taking really great care of yourself and the things in your life. We have the full moon in Leo. Don't let pride get in your way. I'm wondering if some of you guys will be extending an apology to someone or reaching back out to someone to rekindle the positive energies between y'all. In the past, ego, fear may have gotten in the way of love, and I am just wondering if something like that will happen. We'll see what the tarot cards have to say. We have the full moon in Virgo. You are good enough. Wow, so much full moon energy. Full moons are really highly emotional times of release, letting go, and taking great care of things. The energy is at a peak. So these next 6 months, high energy, high emotions. Yeah. And with the you are good enough and the solar plexus chakra in reverse, huge emphasis on restoring your confidence, your self-esteem, and doing whatever you have to do to get to that place within yourself. Okay, so some of you guys may be taking a lot better care of yourself. And I mean, that actually aligns with what we were saying with the home. Taking better care of your home, your clothes, your body, your appearance, whatever. I'm just seeing an attention to detail, which is very Virgo in quality. And even Leo, takes care of themselves. It's a good sign for self-care. So increased self-care, increased just pouring energy into yourself so that way you can be more confident and secure. We have the new moon in Cancer. You and your loved ones are safe. I love that. So if there are any worries on your mind, also I love the progression of this Cancer, Leo, Virgo. It's all in one swoop. So if in the next 6 months it is June, July, August, and September, this is definitely your reading too. I mean, obviously, the time that I'm filming this, that would be for everyone if you're watching when I'm posting. But yeah, I think that time of the year is extremely significant and will flow beautifully for you. New moons bring in new energies, and Cancer brings in the feeling of home, family, very close contacts. And it's really like it's the mother of the zodiac. I feel like you are mothering yourself, and like I said, just nurturing, taking very good care of those who are in your possession, that which is in your possession, and those who you have a good connection with, very nurturing. If any of you guys are parents, I am seeing a big chunk of your time going towards your children and really making them feel valued, seen, heard, etc. One of the best thing you can do for your children is to love yourself, okay? Because we subconsciously project how we speak to ourselves and feel about ourselves onto our children, as well as the people around us. So if you're in a very negative relationship with yourself and your self-esteem, your confidence is very low, that will heavily impact your children and the people around you. Sometimes the best thing we can do for our loved ones is to take really good care of ourselves. And it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. You can start with just getting out of bed. You can start with stretching, with taking a shower every day, flossing every day. Start with the basics. And this is where we start working through the root chakra system or through Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Start with the basic security things, okay? A nice, clean, secure house, and then work your way up, okay? Creative fulfillment, passion, self-confidence, energy, health, well-being, safety, security, heart-based things, a good support system in your life, a community to take care of you as well as your children, and then your self-expression, how you present yourself to the world, and then your connection with spirituality, intuition, trusting yourself to make good decisions, and then higher connection, elevated mindsets and energy, learning new things, okay? In that order. Or just look up the chakra system, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay, I see you really, really caring for yourself and just improving that level of self-care. So let's dive deeper. What is in store for you in the next 6 months, other than, self-care and increase in confidence and traveling to these beautiful locations? I will be shuffling up the Philly Tarot, repping my town. Okay. We have the Wheel of Fortune and the Page of Pentacles in reverse, and a very interesting combination. And I feel like in these next 6 months, there will definitely be unexpected positive changes. I mean, the Wheel of Fortune shows like that wheel is always turning. Things are always changing. The universe is always going to spice things up for us. And also this represents your spirit guides surrounding you, protecting you during this time and during these changes. So that's confirmation for that. The Page of Pentacles in reverse, to me, this can represent a change in commitments. Okay, so a commitment you expect or an offer that you expect might not be coming through for you. However, I feel like something better will unfold. So good news you're hoping to hear, or a commitment you're hoping for, or like a job or something that you're hoping for, might not come through. There may be a delay. However, it's a good delay, and I'm seeing Lord Ganesha. Okay? Putting up obstacles, putting up these delays for you, or the spirit of elephants, putting up these delays for you because they are trying to guide you towards something even greater. Okay, so if you're experiencing, for example, random example, it might not apply to you, someone you want to be in a commitment with, like committed relationship with, and they're not willing to commit, they have commitment issues, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, that's not what I wanted to hear. That's actually good because you can let that person go and there would be someone better coming in. Or if you get like rejected from a school you wanted to go to or a job you wanted, again, it's actually a good thing because there's something more in alignment with you. Okay, so I just need to say that now because I am seeing some sort of rejection, but it's not going to be a bad thing at all. It'll actually be pretty good. And I know this is tricky. It's a trickster energy almost. The universe will sometimes take us on these paths that we don't necessarily quote unquote want, but it leads us exactly where we need to go. And I'll give you an example. I struggled with chronic hives for years on my skin all the time. I would break out in hives that were itchy, red, inflamed. And doctors didn't know what it was. They're just like, oh, it's a medical mystery. Anyways, here's your bill. And it was real annoying. They just said, I guess just take, some sort of allergy medicine and call it a day. And I'm like, yeah, but where are they coming from? Why is this happening? And that wouldn't necessarily be seen as a quote unquote blessing from the universe. However, it was because from me having that health issue, I did so many deep dives for like 3 to 4 straight years on how the body works, the endocrine system, how it's connected to the kidneys and hormones, how hormones are connected to histamine and the skin and blah, 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 blah. I learned so much about how to take care of myself, good care of myself. And I went on a health journey and now I am literally the healthiest I've ever been in my life. I feel the best I've ever felt in my life, all because I got those chronic hives. So keep an open mind when life hands you something that you don't necessarily want. We have the Magician coming out in reverse. Okay, group number 3, beware of people with commitment issues is what I want to say here, who are just trying to give you the bare minimum and keep you, giving them validation, stroking their ego, your body, whatever it may be, okay? I would reject people of that nature and focus on what you deserve, on what you want, okay? Whenever the Magician comes out in reverse, to me, it's a little bit egocentric. It's a little bit of a douche canoe, someone manipulating a situation, and they consciously know that they shouldn't be doing something, but they keep doing it. For example, this could be like somebody who knows you have deeper feelings for them, and they know that they don't want a deeper relationship, but they kind of keep you hooked on them and breadcrumb you, give you just enough so that you stick around, but not enough so that you get what you actually want. You know, they give you just enough for you to stay, but not enough to make it an equal, fair relationship. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse and the 8 of Wands in reverse. Okay, yeah, Knight of Pentacles in reverse is a huge confirmation for me for what we were just saying, especially with the Page of Pentacles on the other side of this Magician card here. Definitely pay attention to people with commitment issues these next 6 months, okay? Don't really give them the time of day. Another thing I'm seeing here from the universe, they're saying it is okay to completely remove people from your life, block people out of your life who are very touch and go, very touchy with their consistency. Knight of Pentacles in reverse, to me, it's giving inconsistent. It's giving not moving forward at all. Okay, so, and also this plays into your self-esteem and your confidence. Yeah, I would block anybody, honestly, like block anybody who, for example, they flirt heavily with you, or they say, oh, let's collaborate, or oh, I'm going to come over and help you do this, blah, 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 blah. And then they leave you on read or delivered for weeks on end, and they're posting, you're seeing them going out and stuff, and they're ignoring you. Those are the people and situations that Spirit is saying it is okay for you to shut the door on that. Again, shutting the door on those hostilities, shutting the door on drama. And your actions show the universe what you're worth and what you're willing to accept. So when you shut those types of energies out of your life, it's going to lead to this 8 of Wands moment here. 8 of Wands is amazing. Okay, it is popularity, it is forward movement, it is having a ton of invitations out to places, and just so much positive energy pouring in, seeping in, forward momentum and direction. So it's wonderful. We have the 8 of Pentacles right next to that as well. Okay, making more money. I see a lot of you achieving higher levels of success. Oh wow, I accidentally just flipped over the Page of Swords in reverse and the King of Cups upright as well. Beautiful. I am seeing more success at your career, and look, he's holding the Super Bowl trophy thing. I can't even tell you who this is. I don't watch sports at all, but from the Eagles, obviously. And yeah, I am seeing more career success, more success at something you've been repeating over and over and over again, trying to grow and grow and grow for a long time. Probably you've been very patient, and I'm seeing a lot of momentum, a lot of success pouring in from that for sure. And this is directly coordinated, by the way, to you no longer accepting emotionally unavailable people in your life. Oh, you know what I'm seeing here? This is going to get real specific for some of you. The reason why you've been struggling with money is the same exact reason why you've been struggling with emotionally unavailable, emotionally avoidant people. And it's the same exact reason why you might actually have issues with your mother, okay? And feel judged by her, okay? I know those 3 things sound so different, but they are all connected. They are all connected to a core wound, a core belief, a core energy of you not being enough. Okay, so when you start setting boundaries with your mother, when you start releasing and becoming unattracted to people with commitment issues, people who are emotionally avoidant, you will start seeing more money. Okay, start being committed to your own goals. That's what you should be committed to. Okay, be committed to your boundaries. Be committed to what is available, what is working, what is moving forward, what does treat you right. All of those things are connected, and all of those areas of life can improve in the next 6 months. Especially with these 2 8s coming out for you. The number 8 is so powerful, and it really rules over wealth, prosperity. It's the infinity symbol, growth, development. And I'm seeing it here for you, growth in the types of relationships you attract, especially the money that you are making, the success that you have here, and just your own self-confidence, your own self-worth. They are all so connected. And all 3 of those areas are going to develop for you in the next 6 months, but you have to take responsibility here and make this change, this Wheel of Fortune moment that is wanting to come in. And you need to start saying no, shutting the door on the drama that comes from emotional unavailable people, that come from judgmental family members, that comes from you simply choosing those draining individuals over your own goals, your own hard work and efforts, man, your self-worth and your commitment to yourself, that is what's increasing, and it'll create so much positive change for you. I'm telling you. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Definitely like this video, comment how it resonated down below, and subscribe to the channel if you've not already. If you want a personal reading with me one-on-one, the link to that is always in the description box, spiritpsychic.org. By the way, I'm looking at this King of Cups here, and I'm like, man, I really feel like love is coming in for a lot of you as well. If you're single, like, I feel like this King of Cups person is coming in, which is very emotionally available, successful, mature, but it's going to require the sacrifice of you constantly connecting with emotionally unavailable people. So I just wanted to throw that in there as well. Anyways, I'm gonna leave you here. All right. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.